Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, brothers and sisters. We are here in another episode of CFS Connects podcast, and today I am Muhammad Sadam bin Rahimi. You can call me Brother Is, and today here with me is I'm having a special guest today. Dia adalah seorang pemenang untuk Dean's Cup Orators untuk under focus. Let's give him applause, Brother Idris Hakim. Assalamualaikum, brother.
Waalaikumsalam.
Could you please introduce a bit about yourself?
Well, a little bit of background of me. My name is Idris Hakim bin Muhammad Adam. You could call me by Idris or Hakim. And I'm born in Kelantan. And
Oh, Kelantan, oh!
yeah, that's but I can't really speak using Kelantan dialect that much because I enrolled into Chinese school since I was elementary until SPM. So most of the languages that I use are mostly either English or Chinese. And Malay, I did use it some, especially during the secondary school of my time. But mostly it's more to standard BM rather than Kelantan type of dialects, yeah. Now I'm pursuing human sciences, and right now it's in the third sem, and I'm already officially 19. There's nothing much to talk about me, to be honest, but yeah, that's a brief idea.
I see. That's very interesting of you. You've mentioned that you enrolled in a Chinese school, you said.
Yes.
And you can also talk a bit in Chinese or fully in Chinese?
Alhamdulillah, fully fluent in Chinese.
Fully.
Yeah.
我 is Adam. 对?
对。
Alright. So, did you went to Chinese school from year one or starting elementary school or secondary school or
Elementary.
elementary?
Yeah.
Oh, so
Since I was around 5 to 6 years old.
so would you you'd say that most of your friends, most of your colleagues are Chinese or mixed? How are they?
I could say that dia campur. It's like mixed, but more lean towards for Chinese. But it is either Chinese or banana Chinese, you know.
Banana Chinese.
The banana
对，
Chinese.
对，
Yeah.
对。So, well, you've mentioned most of your friends are Chinese, kan? So, what makes them differ than other? I mean, not to be racist, but how do you feel? What's different with IIUM and also your old school, which is the Chinese school?
In terms of what exactly?
Well, in terms of environment, the food, and friends and stuff.
For the environments, I feel like it is very much different, especially in UAE. Of course, obviously, International
International
Islamic University Malaysia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a lot of Islamic teams, Islamic environment here.
I see.
Meanwhile, you can't really find that much at Chinese school environment. And in terms of friends wise, I must say that, well, diorang baik-baik semua. And they have their own moral value, those Chinese moral value and stuff. And I did grow up learning those values as well. Yang as long as tidak melanggar syari'i lah kan. Yeah. But the thing that makes it different compared to the value that I receive in UAE, UAE integrates more about our deen. Yeah. Meanwhile, they integrates more on the worldly values of like manners and etc. But they do not really dive deeper into the meaning or the reflection of manners itself. But for UAE, they do those kind of stuff. So for friends pula, saya rasa kawan dekat sini yang saya dapat so far, kebanyakannya orang yang menjaga pertuturan.
Masya Allah. Saya lah tu.
Alhamdulillah. Tapi yang kawan dekat sekolah dulu, ada yang menjaga pertuturan, ada yang jenis westernized punya cara bercakap tau. Yang jenis pernah dengar tak macam brain rot ke apa?
Yeah.
Jenis macam tu lah.
6-7.
Lebih lagi. Yang lebih lagi, yang jenis yang kadang-kadang tak filter, tak apa.
Faham.
Macam tu lah.
What? So back in your old school, your Chinese school kan? So memang you sekolah sana dari sekolah rendah and then until graduate secondary school kan? So here's the highlight. So what would you feel, what do you think is the experience that changed your perspective in life? Doesn't mean, tak maksud dalam fasa sekolah je. Maybe boleh ambil dari luar sekolah, or probably waktu kecil-kecil dulu ke, even sekarang pun boleh nak ambil. So what's your point on that?
Saya ada banyak experience sebenarnya, tapi I don't think those experience that I had would overshadow or maybe like become the main highlight of this one particular experience that I had, especially in secondary school. Sebab before I become who I am right now, I used to be not really empathetic. Yeah. Aku dulu macam tak ada banyak ambil kisah tentang the well-being of my friends, especially in terms of mental health and etc. Because dulu waktu berkawan pun, duduk kat sana pun memang like kawan-kawan lelaki kan, dia orang kadang-kadang macam anggap mental health ni as a joke, and the mental health awareness dekat my own school masa tu tidaklah as great as right now. Yeah. So I was among of the people that are not that aware about the mental health. And masa tu there is one particular friend of mine. I wouldn't really call like macam kawan rapat, tapi he was a classmate. And classmate aku masa tu, we used to be like a good friend, macam kawan biasa-biasa, like your usual kawan classmate kan. Until like lately, waktu masa tu dia jadi makin lama makin kurang bercakap, macam kurang bergaul dan sebagainya. Daripada dia mula ada banyak kawan, dia jadi tak nak lepak dengan orang. Dengan aku pun kadang-kadang dia jarang dah bercakap dengan aku. Masa tu aku ingatkan dia macam the face in your teenage life, macam tiba-tiba jadi edgy ke apa kan.
Emo.
Jadi kalau waktu borak dengan kawan-kawan lain pun fikir, oh dia ni mesti dia dalam edgy life ataupun fasa edgy semua. Dan masa tu aku tidak macam ambil kisah sangat lah kan. But until one day dia tiba-tiba macam chose to open up to me, macam tiba-tiba lah out of nowhere. Aku tak ingat sangat dah macam mana boleh jadi buka table cakap tentang tu kan. Tapi dia open up to me and dia cakap dekat aku macam, Hakim, I feel like I can't really survive in this school anymore. And dia kata, selagi macam quote yang aku ingat lagi, dia kata, I feel like I wanted to disappear from this environment. Dan he wanted to, sorry sebab bila teringat balik rasa macam bersalah balik kan. He wanted to macam, kalau if he were to disappear, would the people care about him? Yeah, would it make any changes or significance in the life dekat sekolah sana kan? And masa tu aku ingatkan dia macam he become over dramatic and stuff, because I was under the impression yang dia masih dalam his edgy phases. And aku macam, you don't need to care that much, like you don't need to worry that much lah. Like what you feeling right now tu cuma fasa sekejap kau je. Yeah, no need to fret much. Yeah, kau do your thing, and kalau kau rasa macam makin teruk lagi, kau join kita orang lah. Join kita orang balik. Jangan emo-emo. Jangan buat emo-emo. Join balik. Tak perlu macam nak dramatik sangat. And that time that time I have zero persuasive skill. I have zero consulting skill and such. And masa tu aku pun fikir yang benda dia cakap ni is not that important. Ya, aku macam tak tanya kenapa fikir macam tu. Aku tak tanya kenapa kau tiba-tiba jadi macam ni. Aku mau tu kau tak payah fikirlah. In fact of trying to embrace ataupun trying to confront the problem, aku lebih kepada suruh dia lupakan je. Benda tu tak penting sangat pun. Nanti kau hilang lah tu rasa emo kau. And little did I know, my way of handling the situation masa tu would resulted to the later experience that I'm gonna tell after this lah. And moving on towards waktu, macam mana nak cakap, around 2 to 3 weeks, dia keep trying to find me, and masa tu I felt a bit annoyed lah. Masa tu felt annoyed. Why? Because macam aku cakap tadi, aku memang tak ambil serius mula-mula masa tu tentang his own welfare, his own well-being. Aku tak ambil serius. Dan bila aku nampak macam dia makin asyik nak cuba cakap, macam cuba nak jadi AG dan sebagainya, aku jadi macam masa tu rasa, kenapa dia ni mengada sangat. Yeah, until to the fact that I maybe tried to ignore his approach, ignore his punya cara untuk nak open table dan sebagainya kan. Macam dia ada cuba untuk open table 2-3 kali, and kita ada open table, but like I mentioned before, I had zero consulting skills masa tu, and I had zero awareness. I was basically dumb. Ya, masa aku bodoh sangat. Ya. Dan masa aku tidak expect lah untuk seorang remaja boleh ada masalah mental sampai setakat tu, sebab aku tak rasa sendiri macam tu kan. Ya, and masa tu aku tidak begitu aware about the overall mental health that people would go through in their life respectively. And until to the fact one day aku dapat tahu yang dia tiba-tiba dah tak datang sekolah dah. Dia dah tak datang sekolah dah, dan cikgu pun tak tahu, sebab cikgu tak terima apa-apa khabar daripada parent dia. Sekolah pun tak tahu dia pergi mana.
So dia menghilang macam tu je?
Somewhat like that lah. Aku cuba contact dia balik, dia tak jawab-jawab, dan sampai sekarang aku masih tak dapat nak get in touch with him. Dan kalau aku nak tambah substance lagi dalam cerita aku ni, macam sebelum dia start menghilang tu, dia cuba cari aku for the one last time untuk cakap yang dia cakap,
Take your time. Faham.
sabar. Dia cuba cakap one last time yang dia tanya pendapat aku kalau dia bunuh diri, apa signifikan yang kawan-kawan group friend aku akan fikirkan. Dan masa tu kebetulan dia tanya tu sewaktu kawan-kawan group friend aku pun ada sekali. So you know how boys punya group friend kadang-kadang waktu zaman tu lagi, and those unfiltered words. Like, have you seen, kau pernah tengok tak macam cara orang buat cyberbully? Kan, macam orang ada cuba express dia punya emotional feeling dan sebagainya. Lepas tu kau baca komen, orang-orang tu macam cakap, oh, your problem is not that important. Who is this bro? Who does this bro thinking and stuff kan. Basically kawan-kawan aku masa tu cakap macam tu kan. Aku pun terpengaruh. Aku cakap macam, kenapa kau nak batal attention sangat? Macam, yelah, your problem probably won't be that harsh kan,
compared to the person who's struggling with it.
Lepas tu adalah setengah orang kata, oh, compared to starving African, your problem is not that big.
Betul.
Aku masih ingat lagi ada orang buat joke macam tu, dan I find it disgusting for myself. Yang aku actually ingatkan tu, that was funny. I thought that was a funny toxic joke, because you know how the context of friends, because we thought that we are comfortable enough to joke those kind of stuff without actually realizing yang that might add more wounds to his salt. Add more salt to his wounds, right? And that was the last time he ever came to me, until he just decided to disappear out of nowhere. And when the teacher even asked us macam mana dia pergi kan, sebab dia tak contact apa-apa, sekolah pun cuba cari contact mak ayah pun tak dapat. Lepas tu dia pun sebab cikgu the teacher knew that I was among of his friends, of his classmates, right? He even asked me, tahu tak dia pergi mana-mana, etc. And I couldn't even answer that. Aku tak boleh jawab. Masa the first 4 days ataupun 1 week macam tu, aku ingatkan dia macam cuba nak jadi dramatik lagi lah, untuk tak nak mari sekejap, nak tengok reaksi macam mana. Tapi 1 month had passed, 4 months, until a year, until habis SPM, he never came. And even waktu cuba tanya-tanya cikgu tu, we just heard that, oh, dia punya nama as a student dah kena buang dah.
Oh,
Sebab you know how some school punya rules work. Kalau
tak
tak
cukup kehadiran.
mari sekolah for a certain period of time, contact pun tak dapat sebagainya, automatic buang sekolah.
I see. Faham.
So even until SPM, I do not know what happened to him. So because of that, this experience of mine, it shifted my perspective. Dia ubah aku punya perspektif, membuatkan aku sedar bahawa setiap masalah orang hadapi semuanya sama berat, sama penting untuk kita ambil cakna. Dan sebab tu aku membuatkan diri aku ni, kalau aku jumpa orang yang perlukan bantuan, aku akan cuba nak bantu betul-betul. Macam tu lah.
Faham sangat. Yelah kan, sebab because generally speaking pun kan, aku rasa jokes budak-budak lelaki ni pun memang sangat-sangat harsh lah, especially during the peak teenage era tu kan,
Yeah.
waktu kita 13, 14, 15 macam tu kan. Even my mom pun, mak aku, like last weekend aku ada keluar dengan kawan aku. Kita orang, yelah jalan-jalan Kuantan kan, and like few days before aku ada call mak aku ada macam deep talk dengan mak aku ada sembang-sembang lah kan. And then like waktu aku ambil gambar dengan kawan aku tu, waktu aku keluar, mak aku ada pesan dah sikit kat aku. Dia kata, kalau bergaul dengan kawan tu, jaga tutur kata dan beradab. Dia kata, kalau cakap dengan lelaki sekalipun, lelaki pun ada perasaan yang hati senang rapuh dan mudah sentap terasa. Ringan mulut ucap maaf kat kawan-kawan sebab kita terlepas cakap sampai tak sedar menggurus hati perasaan kawan. So, bila waktu kau cakap pasal benda tu tadi, dia sangat buat aku teringat dekat kata-kata mak aku tu lah. So, dia pun buat aku reflect dekat perkara yang aku buat waktu kecil-kecil dulu. So, it's kind of heartbreaking to realise, to kita reflect balik kita punya perangai waktu zaman jahiliah dulu kan. And also kau ada mention tadi, like what happened to you, like how does it affect you after you know kawan, your friend tu dah hilang dari sekolah?
Aku rasa bersalah gila.
Salah gila.
Sebab aku dapat rasakan masa tu, aku kuasa untuk prevent him from dropping out from school, prevent him daripada tiba-tiba hilang dari sekolah, was within my hands tau. Sebab dia asyik cuba untuk cari aku. And maybe in his perspective, I was maybe the one of the people that he thought boleh escape. He thought boleh datang untuk macam
Melepaskan
minta
masalah
tolong,
dia.
right? But yet I pushed him away. Dan memang sumpah aku rasa bersalah gila. Aku rasa macam disgusted about myself masa tu lah. Dan yang affect aku betul-betulnya, sebab bayangkan, seolah-olah analogi aku bagi kat kau kan, kau diberi pilihan, kau nampak kau ada kuasa untuk nak tolong angkat orang tu daripada from the cliff, daripada jatuh kan. Kau boleh tangkap tangan dia, kau boleh angkat dia naik atas balik, jangan biar dia jatuh. Tapi instead, bukannya kau tak tangkap tangan dia, kau siap macam
Kau mempermainkan
kau
dia
mempermainkan
lagi
dia lagi. Lepas tu kau macam lepaskan macam tu je. Kau ada peluang untuk nak prevent from that happening, but yet you choose to not to, just because of the social expectation, ataupun just because of orang fikir yang mental health ni was not that important, ataupun orang fikir oh hanya because of you're not fully adult, just because of kau ni masih sekolah lagi, kau tak layak untuk nak ada masalah-masalah mental macam ni. Kau punya masalah tak seberat macam masalah orang dewasa ataupun masalah orang-orang yang tak bernasib baik mungkin dekat negara lain. Jadi this kind of expectation yang membuatkan aku jadi push him away lah masa tu. Aku tak dapat banyak nak cakap tentang aku. Bila aku cerita ni macam ni, benda macam ni balik, bila aku teringat, aku jadi rasa macam
rasa sebab lah.
oh, I'm such a jerk-ass, man. Faham tak?
Yeah.
I'm such a jerk-ass masa tu. Dan disebabkan tu lah, sejak habis experience, macam after the experience, I tried, even sampai sekarang pun aku tried my best to change my way of talking. to be more lembut dalam percakapan, to not use harsh words and those stuff, dan cuba untuk menjadi lebih baik as a person lah, to help people and such. Sebab yelah, kau takkan tahu ayat-ayat kau yang kau ingatkan benda biasa je might leave a sting towards people and make them remember for their whole life.
Betul. Like, yelah kan, kita take it as a joke, but actually it cuts deep in the heart actually. Sebab kadang-kadang, yelah ada masanya kita kena bergurau, ada masanya kita tak boleh gurau. Especially, yelah kan, kalau orang tu dah trust kat kita pula tu, dan kita main-main dengan dia pula. So, yeah, aku faham sangat perasaan dia. And your regret tu after that kejadian happen tu, does it datang like immediately ke macam slow burn, macam mula-mula kau rasa macam oh ni dia macam main-main sini, and then like slowly kau rasa bersalah betul-betul? What would you say?
By the time aku realise yang dia might have hilang from school because of his mental health, it happened instantly. The feeling of regret.
I see.
Aku jadi, you won't know what you're missing until betul-betul hilang. Kau faham tak?
Faham. Well, yalah kan benda dah lepas. Tapi katakanlah kan, kalau kau dapat putarkan balik masa, you go back to the past, how would you repair your old self? How would you help that situation?
Basically, kalau aku dapat putarkan balik masa, aku takkan jadi the jackass self of mine when I was a high school lah. Aku akan jadi be more considerate, mengambil cakna lebih, dan take his words seriously. Aku akan cuba untuk bantu dia selagi aku boleh, within my power. Dan aku akan macam help him to stand up again kalau aku boleh. Sebab sometimes nak bantu sampai tahap tu pun you won't have that much of capacity pun. Cuma as long as you were there for them, they might feel that diorang ni penting dalam hidup seseorang, ataupun diorang ni penting untuk hidup. That small gesture alone is more than sufficient to make them thrive more each day, to survive for another day. Tapi yelah, it's all in the past, and itu pun kalau katakanlah aku dapat putarkan masa. Tapi because I'm fully aware, the concept of putarkan masa ni impossible, as far as I know lah kan. Wallahualam. Sebab tu aku memilih untuk nak masuk buat podcast ni, untuk nak cakap tentang benda ni, to spread the awareness of the mental health, to inspire people, untuk buat orang tahu yang benda-benda macam ni tak boleh dipandang remeh. You can't take it lightly.
Betul.
And I think this is one of the ways that I could do to make amends. Yeah.
See. Well, that's a very good thing for you to do actually. Sebab yelah kan, kalau kita tak dapat putarkan balik masa, well, the least we can do is by encouraging others kan. Yelah, because I've noticed some students, I wouldn't say students, even old people, adults pun still take this type of stuff lightly kan. Like mental health, macam diorang anggap oh budak-budak muda tak faham diorang punya struggle all stuff kan. Tapi actually kita orang semua ada struggle kita orang. Even for budak sekolah rendah pun, yeah, they might see even the tiniest bit of struggle yang kita rasa oh benda ni kecil je, maybe bagi diorang sebenarnya tu berat sangat. So well, it's up to others to help the person who is in need kan. Itulah. Well, sedih cerita ni. Aku sebab dada aku sebab, and like mata aku pun sebenarnya berair. And also, well, I'm glad that you are here with us today to talk about this. And well, what's your future? I mean, apa yang kau up to? Apa yang kau focus on untuk you on during this study? Allah selamat. Sorry.
Tak apa. Take your time.
Tengah sebab.
Tak apa, take your time.
Sedih sangat cerita ni. So like, can other than featuring in the podcast kan, and in a few months kan kita nak masuk kuliah, ada all the stuff, and you're also in human science kan. So I presume memang you nak pursue in this Allah SWT, in this course lah kan, macam course yang sangat memperanan dekat ummah kan, macam
Ummah.
like
Ya, ummah.
kan, supaya like what are you trying to pursue during kuliah, by the way, during degree?
Actually, I'm still in my dilemma. Yeah. Sebab, especially after kuliah briefing yang dikondakkan baru je semalam. Kemarin lepas. Ke semalam? Sekejap, tak ingat. Tapi, kuliah briefing lah kan? Korang pun ada dan buat dah? Buat dah kan?
Yeah.
So, for my kuliah briefing, membuatkan aku dalam dilema sebab there are certain elements that made me wonder lah, macam wajib ke kena ambil minor dalam ni sebagainya, because for human sciences, untuk human science student, dia kena minor IRK by default.
Yeah.
And but my plan untuk benda lain, my plan was to minor in law dan majoring probably in political science. Tapi wallahu alam, we will see what Allah had laid out the plan for us.
Wallahu alam. I hope the best for you actually. Because to the audience yang tak tahu, actually Idris Hakim is one of my closest friend dari Sem 1, and I've been with him throughout his struggle, throughout his adventure journey, all those stuff, and he's very kind person. Dia sangat orang influential dekat sini.
Hazza min fadli Rabbi.
Dia banyak join talk speeches and banyak encourage orang lain. So thank you again Idris Hakim for encouraging us today, and we'll hope to see you soon. And to the audience, we'll see you again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.